In Chapter 4 of Marx's Capital, we arrived at the general formula for capital, MC M prime, with that prime meaning that there's a surplus value. Where does the surplus value actually come from? We're going to dive into that question in Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is called Contradictions in the General Formula. Marx first points out that the capitalist is engaging in the MC M prime circuit, buying in order to sell for more. This represents, from the perspective of the sellers, mere commodity exchange. Someone engaging in that CMC circuit sold you the commodity that you then sold to someone else. So you're still operating within the influence of commodity exchange. So we need to look at whether or not the origin of valorization, or money advancing itself with a surplus value, can originate in the realm of commodity exchange. So we look at two owners of commodities who are selling commodities to each other, such that their money balances out and neither of them are in debt to each other. Marx points out that the use values can definitely increase because each person finds the other's commodities useful, and both sides can gain from this in another way if the two are more efficient at producing the commodities that the others want than they are. If it takes me 2 hours to produce a coat, I might find it beneficial to sell something I'm good at making and buy a coat from someone who only takes 1 hour to produce it. I get more for the exchange value of my labor that way. But this doesn't actually produce any more value than is already inherent in our little economy here. The value of the coat was set by the socially necessary labor time and was equal to the value of money I exchanged for it, assuming these are all fair trades, of course. If we're buying and selling from each other by trading equal exchange values so that no one is ripping anyone else off, then we're just passing around exchange values but keeping our own individual total exchange values constant. A lot of people confuse use values for exchange values. They'll say that if you trade something you don't find useful for something you do find useful, you've gained. And that's certainly true. Yes, there was an increase in the total use values, but the exchange values remain the same. Surplus value, that thing we're trying to figure out the cause of, is not a use value. It's an exchange value. In fact, even if we are ripping each other off, the total exchange value in our little hypothetical economy is constant. I might get richer at someone's expense, but combined we have the same amount of exchange values among us. There is no wealth being generated here. Okay, so what if, in an effort to avoid people being ripped off, everybody sells the commodities they produce for more than their exchange value? Well, when the next phase of that circuit comes, when you have to then buy a commodity, they're selling it to you for more as well. So any extra you made selling it for more than it's worth just gets lost when you buy another commodity. So that doesn't work. Unequal exchange just redistributes the wealth. So here's the problem. We see that surplus value doesn't appear if everyone were to buy and sell commodities at their equivalent value, with everyone paying fair price. And you can't get around that by having people buy low or sell high, or even steal from each other, because the net exchange value between you and the person you're defrauding is still equal. So surplus value cannot arise from circulation. So through Chapter 5, Marx has shown us that surplus value does not arise out of circulation. And that's kind of obvious because even from Chapter 1 we saw that value generally arises out of labor. From Chapter 2 through 4, we've been developing these ideas of commodity exchange and circulation. Chapter 5, the one we just covered, acts as a transition from the sphere of circulation to the sphere of production. Marx is going to show us in the next chapter that surplus value arises in the production process.